everyone, it's Alyssa. So today's practice is rooted in my life experience. So as most of my classes are, earlier this week, it was a tough one. And earlier this week, my anxiety flared bad. And it's just really inspired me to come back to my mat, right? Not that I wasn't here, but sometimes we come to our mat for fitness, right? And we also should come to our mat to find some relief and some tranquility. There's this wonderful quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson that says, "Nothing can bring you peace but yourself." It's my responsibility to take care of myself. It's my responsibility to create space for myself. So that's really what has inspired today. And our body has this amazing inner ability to heal itself, right? To heal itself from anxiety, from stress, from trauma. We can't stop the stressors, so we have to stop the stress, because the stress is the thing that gets in the way of the healing, of that natural wellness that comes from within. So we'll get started in a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you, because we're going to start with a breath practice. And so with this breath practice, if I could say it properly, we are going to make a sound like a bee. And so you'll take an inhale in, and instead of that ujjayi feeling here, I want you to make that like a buzzing sound. It's almost like a hum. So there's two options with the hand position. So you can always do nothing, right? You can always let your hands be at your sides or in your lap. With this pose, another option is to either take the pointer or the middle finger and either block the ear or take that little flap in front of the ear and hold it, so that you can really hear the humming of the bee sound. Or another option that I am going to present for you is a mudra, or a hand position, called the Uttara Bandhi. So what you do is you interlace the three lower fingers, bring the pointer and the thumb together, and then you let it rest at your solar plexus. And this this mudra is said to improve self-control and release and remove fear. So pick the hand location of your choice. And for today's practice, I'm going to set a timer for just over a minute, right? And we're just going to hold each pose for about a minute apiece. And we're going to take about 3 minutes in this breath, and then a minute in each pose, right? So find that position of your choice. Take a full breath in, open mouth. Deep breath in, open mouth. One more time, deep breath in, open mouth. So moving into our B breath, deep breath in, exhale. About another minute here. So as you continue, almost feel the teeth vibrate within each other, feel the head vibrate, feel the breath. Relax the tongue, relax the mouth. Release that breath, release the hands, full breath in. Exhale, sigh it out as we drop the chin towards the chest. And then roll ear to shoulder, lift the chin, drop the chin towards the chest. One more time this way. Ear to shoulder, lift the chin, ear to shoulder. Pause in the center and switch directions. Rolling gently, releasing that tension. And then allow the chin to drop down towards the chest. Just rest here for a few moments. Let the neck release, let the head hang heavy. And let it be okay to sit in stillness. And then as you feel ready, either roll over crossed ankles or move around to a tabletop position and move through a few rounds of cat-cow. Take that tension out of the neck and back. If you need to, swish the hips here. Again, let the body release, let the tension release. Find gentle movement. All right, give yourself some space, give yourself some peace. Really moving through each vertebrae, one step at a time. And then from here, elongate the back, tuck the toes under, walk the hands a little further out, and then lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. So walk the feet in as much as you need to, drop the heels towards the floor, drop the shoulders down the back. Alternate the heels if you need to until you can comfortably find stillness. It's amazing in these moments that we realize how long a minute is. The reason I have us do our practice in this way is we tend to want to rush from one pose to the next. Can we just be in the pose? Can we be in this moment? Benefit of this inversion, any inversion, is getting some blood to the head. So we've gotten some really nice oxygenated blood from our breath practice. So we're allowing the breath to kind of blend the mind, relax the mind. Drop the knees down, untuck the toes, Balasana, child's pose. So allow the forehead to rest on the ground, allow the arms to relax. Another option here is to come out into Makrasana, so lay flat on the belly, stack the hands, rest the forehead on the hands. So pick the space that feels most comfortable for you. And just relax here. Give yourself permission to relax here. Not something that we do normally. Give yourself some space, some peace, a time out. Let this time just happen. breath. Encourage you to rest. And then as you take the next inhale, lift yourself up into a tabletop position. We're coming to dolphin pose. So bring the elbows underneath the shoulders, the forearms parallel, tuck the toes under, lift the hips. And then allow the shoulders to relax down, the forehead to relax down towards the floor. So option to stay here, walk the feet in a little closer or a little further away. Keep the hips lifted. This isn't a forearm plank. So the benefit here is opening the heart, right? As we struggle with anxiety, we tend to shorten our breath. So this allows us a space to open the breath, open the ribs, but also find some strength. In the Yoga for Runners video, I talked about how holding a difficult pose helps develop tenacity. Take another breath in, and as we exhale, drop back down to your resting pose. Child's pose, Makrasana, whatever feels right for you. And then let yourself, once again, rest. Find some stillness. Breathe here. As you start to get antsy to want to move, take another breath. Can you hold stillness? Can you be in this space and time? And then slowly begin to walk your way back up into that tabletop position, knees directly underneath hips. Moving out to an extended puppy. So walk the hands about 3 or 4 handprints in front of where they would be under the shoulders. Come down onto the forearms and then start to melt the heart between the shoulders. And the goal is to get the forehead to the floor. If you can easily get the forehead on the floor, gently lift the head and rest the chin on the floor. Now, if you're at that halfway point where you're smushing your nose on the floor, come back to your forehead, right? And just rest and breathe. So again, another opportunity to open the heart, stretch through the shoulders, open the rib cage. Another inversion. And then walk the hands back directly underneath the shoulders. Lift yourself back up into that tabletop position, swishing the hips. So a few rounds of cat-cow if you need it. And then tuck the toes. Make your way into a nice wide stance. So when it comes to standing, feet really, really wide. So full star pose. And then we're going to bind the hands behind the back. So options, you can interlace the fingers. You can reach for opposite elbow to crease. Or prayer behind the back. Know that we're going to forward fold. So whichever one you pick, you want to pick one that will feel right for that full minute of time. So begin first by interlacing the fingers. Press the knuckles down, opening the chest. Maybe even looking up. Take a breath in. And a long breath out. So either keep those bound hands or work towards opposite elbow crease or bringing the hands to prayer behind the back and then hinge forward. And in that hinge, drop the crown of the head down, soften the knees here. So in hands behind the back, In prayer behind the back, make sure the palms of the hands really press again, or we're reaching for opposite elbow, or hands are interlaced, unlocking the elbows, dropping forward. So this isn't about stretching through the hamstrings, right? It's just about getting blood to the head, releasing some heaviness. Trying to find some lightness. Gosh, a minute is a long amount of time, isn't it? Full breaths. Release the hands, bring the hands down to the floor, swing the leg around, and we're going to come down onto our abdominals. So from this abdominal space, you can stack the hands into Makrasana, bend the knees, and rock the heels from side to side. Just take some of that oof out. And then begin to extend the legs straight and let them come down to the floor. Press the tops of the feet into the floor, walk up onto your forearms. Press in the hands and the forearms into the floor and lengthen through the neck. As you do that, lift the belly in towards the ribs. So the lower belly shouldn't into the floor, right? We're going to find a little bit of lift there, finding that strength. So we're going to continue with this heart opening work. So option to stay here or bend one knee, reach back with the same hand and capture the pant leg, or hold on to the foot or ankle. Or bend both knees, capture and capture. Kick the shin into the hands press into the shin as we lift up into bow pose. So keep that breath steady and even. So in a really active class, we would breathe heavily and rock ourselves forward to back. Not for today. Not a bad option, just not for today. Keep that breath. If you're on one side, switch to the other. Keep that breath. Find steadiness. Almost there. And then release down. Restacking the hands. Keep the knees bent. Windshield wipe the knees side to side. Windshield wipe the heels from side to side. Taking that tension and just gently releasing. And then we'll end today with one of the best things for anxiety. So if this is the only thing you can do today, if you only have a minute or two, this is the thing that you should do. So begin to bring your mat up against the wall, lengthwise. So you're going to sit with your hip up against the wall and on the corner of your mat. And from here, you're going to very gracefully roll yourself onto your back, put your legs up the wall. Now, a couple of options. You can put a blanket underneath your hips to elevate your hips a little bit higher. You can be closer or further away from the wall. The tighter your hamstrings, you may want to back up from the wall. You can also put a strap around your thighs if that's needed. And then relax the arms and soften the eyes. And just breathe. And Let the breath slow down. As you feel ready, begin to walk the heels down the wall, bringing the soles of the feet to the wall. And then gently rolling onto one side or the other, using your bicep as a pillow. Rest there. So longer than we normally do after Shavasana, we want to rest on our side before we sit up. An inversion, like legs up the wall, can bring a lot of blood flow to the head, and then immediately sitting up can make us a little dizzy. And then as you feel ready, press the top hand into the floor, swing the legs around, find your comfortable, easy seat. Take a full breath in. And an exhale. Thanks for joining me today. Be well.